intentionally. An agreement and a shared commitment to raise your kids intentionally in taking the right decisions that would help improve their lives, impact them positively, and help them to grow to become whole and purposeful kids. And that's really very important. The foundations for working as a team has to do with agreement. I can't overemphasize that in my marriage. Like I've seen it several times play out in several dimensions, in several ways. Agreement is something that you need to live and operate a sustaining marriage and also succeed in your parenting job as a parent. So I think this is very important. And as we talk about parenting as a team, we're going to also consider people who are married. We'll consider people who are divorced and are co-parenting. We'll consider people who are single parents without the other partner in the life of their kid. And then we'll also look at single people who are planning to get married because these things are really very important. Now, one of the things that I would always start with in terms of having to parent as a kid is that you start a conversation around being intentional about raising your kids. Because a lot of people assume a lot. They go into marriage, they don't talk about parenting, they don't talk about it, they don't talk about parenting methodologies, they don't talk about how to raise their kids, what to do, how to solve problems, how to deal with sex, they don't talk about anything. They just assume that they will just walk that path and things would go well. If you're not intentional, if you can't succeed in parenting. You can't effectively parent your child. And so having that conversation is very, very important. You have to have those conversations. You may not have all of the conversations around these things, but start somewhere. Start talking about it. Always have an honest and open conversation about how you feel about these things. And gradually you'll find out that whenever the opportunities come for you to have more conversations, you will keep having these conversations. You will keep improving your perspective about it, gaining more knowledge and insight about how to continuously raise them in the path that you have decided is the best way to raise them. So conversations are very important and it cuts across every stage of a relationship. A lot of people talk about generational curses and they'll be like, my grandfather acted this way. My father acted this way. I am acting this way. And I'm seeing the traits on in my child. This is a generational cause. I think I need to go and look for a pastor who would deliver me. A lot of times, it is just the transference of certain values and principles from one generation to the other that produces the same result over and over, and then you call it a generational cause. It's just a problem of parenting. And just that ability to be able to operate parenting from a different dimension that has to do with knowledge that brings light. And so it's important to understand that sometimes those things that you see as a problem from one generation to the other is not a generational curse. And you don't need deliverance from a pastor sometimes. What you need is what? The deliverance that knowledge gives. And that's why we are here. That's why we are here, because principles will always produce predictable results. It doesn't matter what generation it is applied, it will always produce what? The same result, the same, it's a law. And so it's important that we understand that as we try to be intentional about raising our kids, we need to begin to have the conversations. Very, very critical. And the second thing about having these conversations is about understanding or having these conversations around your history. With your partner, you need to ask them questions about their history. What was it like growing up? How did your parents, raise you? What was it like? Because a lot of times, for you to go ahead or make progress, you need to go backwards and then consider those things that had happened to you in the past. Some people, they just transfer some of the things that they learned from their parents. And maybe, for instance, the dad was always angry. And they now find out that they are always angry. And they're also doing the same thing in terms of being angry and raising their kids to be angry kids. So it's important that you talk about your histories because when you talk about these things, it helps to be able to know what your expectations would be. Okay, so what do we need to do? It looks like we even need to work on ourselves to be able to actually help these kids and raise them well. So, do we need to look for a therapist? Do we need to look for a coach? Do we need to read certain books? So a lot of times when you have those conversations, it clears the air on how to move ahead of, in terms of raising your kids. It deals with your values, it deals with your beliefs, it deals with your philosophies, it deals with, the principles that you're working with. And a lot of times, it helps you to actually identify, what you think about parenting individually and how you can come together collectively to be able to now say, okay, this is the way we should parent going forward. So that's really very critical. And then there are other things that are really important that you also need to talk about because when you start talking about these things, you now begin to see that, okay, I think we need to talk about what our family values and beliefs are or should be as parents. What are those things? Yes, we have a combination of different beliefs and values, also from where we are coming from. But now, how do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's where you begin to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is work. It's not just okay. We are raising kids and let's just start doing raising kids and just start going along. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it if you really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style do we adopt. Because people or couples are frustrated because they both have different parenting styles. Now, talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's where you begin to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is work. It's not just okay. We are raising kids and let's just start doing raising kids and just start going along. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it if you really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style do we adopt. Because people or couples are frustrated because they both have different parenting styles. Now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's where you begin to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is work. It's not just okay, we are raising kids and let's just start doing raising kids and just start going along. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it if you really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style do we adopt. Because people or couples are frustrated because they both have different parenting styles. Now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's where you begin to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is work. It's not just okay, we are raising kids and let's just start doing raising kids and just start going along. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it if you really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style do we adopt. Because people or couples are frustrated because they both have different parenting styles. Now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's where you begin to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is work. It's not just okay, we are raising kids and let's just start doing raising kids and just start going along. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it if you really want to get effective results.
results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style to be adopt. Because in session of what you people or couples are frustrated because someone has one doesn't both have different parenting styles. You have now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's why you need to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is not work. It's not just okay, we are doing raising kids and let's just start growing and raising kids and just start growing around. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it. You really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style to be adopt. Because in session of what you people or couples are frustrated because someone has one doesn't both have different parenting styles. You have now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's why you need to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is not work. It's not just okay, we are doing raising kids and let's just start growing and raising kids and just start growing around. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it. You really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style to be adopt. Because in session of what you couples are frustrated because someone has one doesn't both have different parenting styles. You have now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's why you need to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is not work. It's not just okay, we are doing raising kids and let's just start growing and raising kids and just start growing around. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it. You really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style to be adopt. Because in session of what you couples are frustrated because someone has one doesn't both have different parenting styles. You have now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's why you need to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is not work. It's not just okay, we are doing raising kids and let's just start growing and raising kids and just start growing around. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it. You really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style to be adopt. Because in session of what you couples are frustrated because someone has one doesn't both have different parenting styles. You have now talk about it. How do we form or how do we decide that these are the values, these are the core principles that we need to operate with as parents? That's why you need to have those intentional conversations. So parenting is not work. It's not just okay, we are doing raising kids and let's just start growing and raising kids and just start growing around. No, it's a lot of work. You have to be deliberate about it. You really want to get effective results. And at this point, that's where you decide what kind of parenting style to be adopt. Because in session of what you couples are frustrated because someone has one doesn't both have different parenting styles. You have now talk about it. How do we
It's a bigger vision. And the truth is, when we have those kind of blueprints, they are visions that are bigger than us, bigger than our personal egos and pride. So when we have conflict or when we have issues, when we look at the fact that I think I'm tired of this marriage, but then you look at the bigger purpose, something that is bigger than you, that will affect third, fourth generations. You will say, okay, how do we fix this? It has to be bigger than you. It has to be bigger than you and beyond you. So it's important that we have these conversations and then go for knowledge. Go for knowledge. Someone said something, he said, by wisdom a house is built, by understanding it is established, and by knowledge it is filled with good and pleasant promises. So it takes knowledge, understanding, wisdom to be able to build the kind of home that you want, to be able to raise the kind of kids that would fit into that blueprint that you have envisioned and you've seen. Now, parenting is a lot of work. And to do that as a team, there are certain skills that you must have. And one of it is the ability to solve problems. And problem solving skill is a leadership skill, right? And so we need that because leadership is the ability to take you from one place of point A to point B. So we need that problem solving ability. I remember when my wife my wife had just given birth to her first son, and my mom was around for the normal omugo. Her mom, is late, so it was my mom that had to do that for us. And then 2 months into the omugo, my grandmother died. That's her mom, my mom's mom. So she needed to travel for the burial. So it was just the two of us. And then she also needed to start work like from the second month as well, at the end of the second month. She was she worked at a place where there was no place really. Okay. All right, so there was no place to for taking care of the kids. So, but then my own place of work had was a family friendly place. We had a little crèche, and I started taking my son at 2 months to work. And I put it on social media, and some people were like, this guy, you be woman rapper. Something I never. Some women were like, I will never even if I give my husband my child, by the time by 4 p.m. we will not see the child again. So there were different perspectives to it. But I was solving a problem in my family. This is my son. I gave birth to him. He wasn't the woman that gave birth to him. We've talked about strength and what availability. At this point, this is the best way to solve this problem. This is my son. I will bathe my son. I will feed him. I will change their diaper. I will do everything. I was bathing my son from second month. I started bathing them from second month. It's my responsibility to bathe my sons. The twins, I bathe them. It takes me like 30 minutes. I started the first week. Thank you very much. So my mom came, did her mugo for 5 months for the twins. And when she left, I started bathing them. I said every day. By the time I did 1 week, I said, babe, we can't do every day. My back is aching. So we had to do every 2 days. But then there are 1 month, 1 year and 6 months, and I've been doing that regularly. And whenever I'm very tired or I'm working, my wife does that. During the day, my wife is very effective with taking care of the boys. At night, I'm very effective in taking care of them. Because if my wife wakes up at night, she may not be able to go back to sleep until morning. But if I wake up, I will do everything I want to do. If I put my head back on bed, I'll sleep. So we had to look at what are our strengths and how do we work as a team to make this work. Because if she stays awake all night and during the day, she's more effective taking care of the boys. I won't be there to take care of the boys. So she'll be working all around. So we need to really talk about these things. And let me just quickly round up. I have quite a lot of things to talk about, but let me round up. Now, for those of us who are divorced, for instance, and then we have kids that we co-parent, it's important to understand that you need to be friends with your spouse, your ex. You don't have to be all chitty chatty if it's not a very good situation. But at least let it be business-like. We have a situation and it's a child, even though we are not really friends, let's treat this as a business. Let's take care of this boy or take care of this girl to be a what? A successful child. The profit is that we both get is that this child is what? A healthy, whole child. So let's deal with it that way. Deal with the forgiveness part of it. Because a lot of times you can't actually move forward with someone if you've not forgiven them. If they really did hurt you, you have to deal with the forgiveness. Because you want them to be involved in the life of your child. You don't want to raise another child that is probably, going to be worse. So it's important that you deal with that and then let that respect, mutual respect be there. Let the kids see how you both respect each other and how you're working together to ensure that you make things work. And then have those conversations around the other parents or step parents that will be in the life of that child. Choose the right partner. because it's important to choose the right partner that will be the step parent to your child. Because that's really very critical in the sense that you don't want someone who has a different value from you or what you have, and that the person is raising your child. In fact, as all the four of you are concerned, everybody has to sit down and have conversations around how to raise your kids. You don't have to be friends. Treat it as what? Business. That way you can be able to help raise a child and raise the child well, because that's the focus. And then, for those of us who are divorced and don't have the other spouse in the life of that child, it's important that you deal with the anxieties, the fears, the emotions, negative emotions that come, with being a single parent. It's important that you deal with that. It's important that you deal with, if it's guilt, maybe you feel like, I was the one that caused this breakup and all of that. Deal with the guilt. Learn to take care of yourself. Because as a single parent, stress can be taking care of a child is stress. God didn't design it that one parent will take care of children. It was something that was designed for teamwork. And because it's not there, you may be stressed, overly stressed. So try as much as you can to develop structures around how you take care of them. Let them know what the kids should have expectations in terms of the times that they need to eat and all of that. That way it makes life easier for you. Look for an adult who has values, principles that can stand in as an authority figure for that child, especially for boys, that need fathers. If it's a lady, get a lady to be somebody, an authority figure for that girl, because that way they can be able to help to nurture that child. And for single people, finally, for single people, it's important that you know that the success of your marriage starts with the choice that you make in who to get married to. If you fail with who you get married to, it's going to be a lot difficult. But if you can get that right, the right choice, and talking about parenting from the beginning is very, very important. And I'm going to end with this. When I started talking with my wife about parenting, we had, been engaged to get married. And, we were having conversations, and I asked her, I said, how many children would you like to have? And she said, two. I said, two. I'm an only son. Oh. I cannot have only two children. But I was thinking three because I'd also like plenty children. And she said, are you the one that's going to give birth to them? I said, no. I said, yes, so I only want two deliveries. That's all. I want to go to the theater two times. I said, yeah, okay. Is that the case? So can we have twins and then one child? So you go to, delivery room two times, but then we are coming out with three children. And she said yes. But that's okay, as long as we can have twins. I wanted to put a picture of my family for you to see them. And he said, okay, that's fine. So, you know what? We agreed. Agreement, teamwork. It's a spiritual thing, first of all. We agreed, we were praying about it, we were having conversations around it. We were talking like people who will have twins. We never talked like people who will not have twins. All our plans, everything we were doing was about people who would have twins. We had our first son. We were expecting two boys and a girl the second time. We had our first son, it was just about, we said, you know what? Okay, so they will come, the next two will come after this one. But then we now had two boys and they were what? We now had twins and they were two boys. That's the power of what? Agreement. Working as a team, consistently saying the same things and doing things together, planning together. And yes, and that's where we are today. So I believe strongly in teamwork when it comes to parenting. I believe strongly in agreement and I believe strongly in shared commitment. Thank you very much. I'll stop here.
Very much, sir. Please make it loud. Make it loud. Very much. All right. By the way, let me ask if you're gaining something. Can I see your hand? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So we're going to go forward, and we're going to be having understanding childhood trauma. Very, very important. I think that's about the tail end of what he was talking about. It's really important, and I know that the person that's going to talk about this, I don't want to mention her name. I know her very well. She's someone that knows this topic very well. By the way, let me quickly say before. Are you ready for me?
Yes.
All right. I think at this he mentioned it, like he said it. Just like bring it to your consciousness again to teach children responsibility so that they can grow up responsible. Make your bed, you know, do things. So when they grow up, it's not a hard thing, and you have adults that can't even bath well. Yeah, I heard a story yesterday. Just yesterday. Maybe that's why it's in my mind right now. She couldn't take care of herself. And she's, yeah. So, teach them, do things for yourself, help yourself. And I noticed that if you don't do that, you just have dependables, people that are, even in relationships, you can't take initiatives. Okay, there is Cerelac is almost finished. You're calling your husband, type of thing. Take responsibility. Step up to the challenge and do what is needed. Are you ready for me, sir?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Who is coming up next?
Halima Abubakar is a neurolinguistics master practitioner, an anger management and emotional intelligence coach, a professional marriage, family, and parenting counselor, passionate public speaker, and a mental health first aid practitioner. She is passionate about family at any level, and she guides others on how to communicate effectively and how to own their personal lives. She guides people to find the resources they need within to build their best lives. She has been married for 2 decades and is blessed with beautiful children. Alima Abubakar is a member of Toastmasters International. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Alima.
Welcome.
Oh, no, 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 no. No, no, please, please, don't throw me out. Please, I beg you. Let me be with my children. I don't need them. Why? They are all girls. They will grow and get married and leave my house and they won't be of no use to me. Oh, please. Why are you doing this to me? Why? Why are you doing this to us? Please. Just let me be with them. Now, this was the cry of my helpless mother when she was begging my constantly angry father. Yes. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? This kept playing in my head as an adult and as a mother for so many years. Well, I grew up in a kind of messy home, an abused home. My father will hit my mother and he will yell and shout at any slight provocation. He will rain curses and abuses on myself and my sisters. And I lived constantly in fear. Mine was a loud home. I may have some sisters there anyway. But then, I couldn't wait to get out of that house. I could do anything to please anybody. Just let me leave. That was the story of my childhood trauma. Yes, and at 19, I got married and I left. So, trauma is our conversation today, right? Trauma is a response to a deeply disturbing, distressing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope. It diminishes your sense of self. It takes away your power. It puts you in a constant place of pain. And I experienced that firsthand. So when this topic was given to me, I was smiling. And I said, yes. I feel very proud and comfortable to share my vulnerability with people. And I say today that this is my calling. So when I got married, I knew everything that I didn't want to go wrong, including how to parent my children, including how not to turn out to be like my mother, whom as at that time I felt was too weak to stand up for herself. Guess what? I will tell my children, don't shout, don't be like mommy. Don't shout. You know, mommy grew up in a home where everybody shouted. My father would shout, my mother would shout, my siblings would shout, everybody would shout. Don't shout, though. When I finish talking, they'll be like, I didn't know. It took me time, really, to realize that the monster I was trying to fight consciously was actually buried in my subconscious mind. And then I unconsciously transferred that same monster to my children without even paying attention to it. I was only talking, right? Is talking enough? So, unknown to me, my children became master yellers. They had mastered the art of shouting and yelling and talking loud. Even when I said to them, Mommy doesn't have a bedroom voice, so you better learn it. Ladies and gentlemen, childhood is inevitable, right? Trauma is. Trauma is inevitable. So let me ask you a question in this hall. Do you sometimes find yourself overwhelmed by the behavior of your child? You ask yourself, but I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best to be a good parent. What's happening? Why is this child behaving this way? Why is she turning out to be like so person like me? Like, of course, for parents, sometimes we don't agree. We don't want to agree that we are actually the ones, right? So, you tell yourself, sometimes when you react, you tell yourself, I want to become better. Many a times you feel disappointed. You feel ashamed at your reaction towards your children. Really. Because when the practicals arrive, no matter how you tell yourself, if you are doing it consciously, like what I was doing before, hey, you will suddenly become very disappointed at yourself. This childhood experience, really, we call it adverse childhood experience, right? It has been linked with toxic, stressful, environment, it could be family, it could be your environment, it could be your significant emotional experiences that you've gotten as a child, which I experienced, even not knowing that I was passing it down to my children. The effects of childhood trauma on their childhood trauma, parents who experience childhood trauma on their children's behavior, is that if not tapped into and helped consciously, it can pass down to what we call the mother wound. It's like the generational curse that Mr. Chris was talking about. Sometimes we think it's a generational curse. No, it is not. However, the mother wound is true. Sometimes our experiences as mothers could be passed down to our children. I inherited my mother's, right? And then I thought I was educated, so I knew I should do better. There is a current research by the American Psychologists Association that the research was on how many different types of adverse childhood experiences were endured by parents of 2,529 kids, and how often the kids experience emotional or behavioral problems or attention issues. Now, listen to the result of this research. Compared to children whose parents didn't experience ASI, children whose parents went through one type of adverse childhood experience or the other were 44% more likely to have what? Hyperactivity, and 56% more apt to have emotional and mental health issues. Trauma is real. Open your ears. When parents experience at least four different kinds of trauma, their kids will twice as likely have hyperactivity and 4 times more likely to have emotional or mental health problems. Mothers' experiences appears to be higher and has a bigger impact on their children's health than fathers. This is because, of course, before we have the likes of Chris and many others, before now, mothers spend, if not 99.9% time with their children. So the children watch you. They learn from you. They learn more from what you don't even say. From your non-verbal signs. They learn from your body languages. So, for the very first 19 years of my life, I watched my mother cry every night. Initially, I didn't know. I would just wake up and see her crying, and I'll be like, why are you always crying? And then until I started growing and I got to be part of the fair share of the yelling and the shouting and all that. And I understood. There is a movie called My Dear. How many of you have watched My Dear? Yes, so My Dear's movie by Tyler Perry, you know, it's a family reunion, but it's a great example of a mother would pass down from generations to generation. A mother selling her child for $10. And the child once, of course, she became a mother, And she sold her own daughter in the form of rape. For what? For better life. Now, among other things, chronic exposure to adverse childhood experiences during childhood may make it harder for parents to be able to bond with their children. I thought I loved my kids initially. I loved them. But fast forward to now, I realized that I was truly not able to bond with them on a 100% level because I didn't get that growing up as a child. So, I was also having challenges with my spouse initially because I came in with a whole load of expectations. I wanted him to be my father, to be my brother, to be my uncle, to be everything. Haba, is he not human? But hey, you can't blame me because I lacked that. And I know that my story is not very far from the story of others. But there is a difference. The difference between you and I today is that I have worked on myself. I am more self-aware. I now know better how to handle my emotions, how to help myself, and even develop a blueprint, a parenting blueprint for my family. Now, this is bringing me to say that every challenge has a solution. I'm going to share with you 7 steps. 7 steps to take in order for you to heal from childhood trauma. These were the steps that I took. They are tested and trusted. I remembered when I was talking earlier, I said, when I was giving this topic, I smiled. And I said, this is like going out to do my thing, practically. First of all, you need to acknowledge and recognize the trauma. There is a tool we developed in my academy called the ABC tool. A says that, first of all, you need to accept that there is a challenge, there is trauma. Remember, if you don't even accept it, you are going nowhere. B says you need to believe 100% that there is solution to my challenge. And the C says, am I ready to stay committed to this journey of healing and self-discovery? I call it self-rediscovery. And D says, I am ready. I am determined. I am determined to let go. I am determined to forgive. I am determined to become the brand new person that I want to be. Yes, secondly, seek help and don't isolate yourself. Kindly bring yourself, your kids, and every person that you know is important in this journey of healing. Talk about it. In my case, I started holding family meetings with my family. First of all, I needed to apologize to my kids. I had to tell them, I need help. You need to help mommy. I am on a journey to heal. However, I know I cannot do this alone. I need you. And like Chris said, yes, in the Christendom, we say agreement. In Islam, we say, yes, we came together and then we had yaqeen. We trusted that this is going to work for us. So, they started becoming my accountability partners. So the number of times I have yelled, they will record it. And I consciously also registered myself in personal development classes. This is one thing I want to advise us. We shouldn't just sit down and claim that we know it all. Oh, I can do it all. God will help me. Like, yes, but is that a strategy, like Irene said? It is not a strategy. Because even God wants you to act. It's not enough that you are saying or action. You need to act. So when they say come and register in personal development classes, Nigerians, a typical Nigerian person will say, it's too expensive. When Mr. Onoja will advertise for emotional intelligence, people will say it's too expensive. But really, there is no price that you can pay for knowledge, added value. Yes, I enrolled myself because I knew I needed to be better. I needed to become better. Another point is for you to embark on self-care. You need to take care of yourself. It's important. So I started taking break from everything. So I will work, and towards the end of the year, of course, because my family knows, we talk. My spouse, I tell him, you know what? Of course, we all agreed. When it is the end of the year, I'm going to go on a break. Sorry, I'm not going to go with anybody. I want to go and take care of myself. I mean, I have tried now. For 19 years, I was being bullied. I was crying. Now it's time for me to take care of myself. So self-care is very important. If you are not looking at that, please begin to take yourself out for lunch. Now, learn the true meaning. This is key. If there's anything you want to take home from all that I've been saying so far, is this next point. Please, learn the true meaning of acceptance and letting go. It's important. Many a times, we tell ourselves, you know what, I've moved on, I've forgiven. But you and I know that you did not forgive anything. And because you haven't let go of those toxic feelings in you, is actually dragging you backwards. So, did I tell you that I only forgave my father 5 years ago? Yes, I forgave him. And that was when I experienced true happiness in life. He didn't even know better. I realized he didn't know better. Let go. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. But however, if you are ready to embark on your personal development journey, see a therapist, please, it will help. And for the young people, of course, you are going to get married, right? You can't even afford to go in there with your baggages because it will haunt you just the way it haunted me. So let go. You're letting go not because of the person, but because of you. You need it. It's for you. And you should also know that the person that actually caused you the trauma may not really even know that you're forgiving. Yes. If you have the opportunity to talk to the person, fine. Otherwise, just know that forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness puts you in a place of power. And another thing that has kept me so far I know my cohorta women are here. You will say, Coach Alima started. Yes. One thing that has kept me and that has kept you, whether you like it or not, is hope. So, prayers. If you believe in God, you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, prayers, this will help. You need to recognize that there is a higher being. There is a force that is bigger than you and I, than even the person that has caused you pain. So, recognizing that force will help you as quickly as possible to get over your pain, to get over the trauma. And remember that that's the only way you can stop the generational cause, like he said, of passing down the mother's wound. There is also the father's wound, anyways, but I'm not here to talk about that. Yes, consciously replace bad habits with good ones. Consciously try. Try. Listen to learn to do, like affirmations for those people that know affirmations. Listen to positive things. I say even music, listen to positive music. It will help. Make sure you are in the right circle of influence. Make sure you have good network of people around you. It will help you. And above all, my name is Halima. Do you know the meaning of Halima? I don't want the Muslims to answer. Do you know the meaning of Halima? Patience. Above all, be patient. You know why? Because you have recognized that there's a higher being. Be patient. Well, today I'm standing here. I'm not defined by my pain. I'm not defined by my trauma. So be patient. One day it will be your turn. And then finally, as Fred Rogers said, anything that is human is mentionable. And anything that is mentionable can be more manageable. When we talk about our feelings, they become less overwhelming, less upsetting, and less scary. The people we trust with that important talk can help us know that we are not alone. Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm sure you will agree with me that when I said she was perfect, she was chosen. Yeah, please a round of applause for her. And by the way, I want to say a big thank you for that drama because it's stuck, so it's not going anywhere. We understand. And by the way, hearing her speak, it is obvious she has done some detoxification. She has dropped it. She has renewed herself, and that's why she's the first person to take that session. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, so we are at a point where we, engage some nice online things, if I'll put it that way. By the way, just to let you know, the rest of these sessions are powerful. Huh, right? I know. I mean, all the things I said, I'm sure you saw the manifestation. They are really powerful. So you want to be here while they're happening. So what I would like to, it was a request from our convener for us to engage the social media, and have a conversation with the person beside you. Just know their names and ask them what they do. Just strike a conversation and also take a selfie, right? Take a selfie. You and your newfound friend or newfound colleague in the parenting industry. So and by the way, while you do that, please do a hashtag Parent Summit Africa 2021. Parent Summit Africa 2021. So meet someone, ask them for their card. You can ask them for their account details. You can so something. You know what I'm saying? Please, people at the back, you need to engage. If Parent Summit Africa right now is giving you some amazing empowerment in the parenting industry, please engage. Doctor, you might want to come out and do a selfie with all of us. Just do a selfie with all of us. Let us wave at the camera saying, Parents Summit Africa. All right, everybody, can we engage? Can we look at Dr. Vivian's phone right now? Okay, I did a video. Okay, so what we're going to say at the count of three, you say Parents Summit Africa by waving your hands, right? All right, so 1, 2, 3. Woo! Thank you very much. By the way, I'm sure there are some people that you've not seen some people in a long time. Meet them. This is a yearly thing. So stretch. Okay. Don't forget hashtag Parent Summit Africa 2021. Parent Summit Africa 2021. We have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes to let the world know what's happening here. 2 more minutes to let existence know that the parenting industry is going to the next level. All right, 1 more minute. 1 more minute. We're almost there. By the way, there's going to be time to go to the stand, so you may not want to do that right now. Let us just finish with our talks and we can now go to the stand to make inquiries about what we want to do with our children. Okay, please, can we return back to our seats? Can we return to our seats? I beg your pardon. Can we return to our seats? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be inviting our next speaker. Please, can you bring it up? Thank you. Thank you. Can we have our seats? Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, let's wait for. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, our next speaker is going to be talking about bringing out the genius in your child. Very important. And I realize that a lot of children are hot cakes in the market, but we don't just know. In fact, I mean, many of us studied what our parents thought was good for us, not what we would have loved to do or what we're built for. Okay, so this person is going to be talking about bringing out the genius in your child. And are you ready for us now?
has over 2 decades of experience of child development. From her undergraduate days, her passion has always been to catch them young, impact generational impact. A TEDx speaker, she remains a frontline aide in the move to raise young people as nation builders, exploiting their hidden potentials to gain skills that equip them for life, spurring them on to become great influencers and leaders of change in the society. As an entrepreneur, she deftly applies her knowledge in business areas covering logistics and supply chain, fashion and education, currently as head of Blossom Homes region. Adela is actively involved in various associations and networks that enhance her zeal for entrepreneurship, innovation, and creativity. She is happily married and a parent of teenagers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Adela Remy John.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think we really needed that break. Thank you for thinking of that, Dr. Vivian. It was good for us to stretch. We're beginning to sit for so long. And that's also to say thank you to all the speakers that have gone ahead. And it was also nice to get to know you a bit closer with that short break we had. And we've had interesting conversations. Thank you so much, sirs and man. So, happens that I'm next now. And being the educator that I am, I prefer to work with slides. I know Dr. Vivian said, yeah, make it a TEDx event, just tell the stories. We'll tell the stories, but sometimes we want to keep us to focus. And I hope the media guys will be able to help me with that. Is anybody with me? All right. So I'm here today. Sorry, I gave you the slide. I thought you had it. Okay. So I'm here today to talk, with the two of my staff, the colleagues in the office, Ms. Dami and Ms. Inka. Please stand up to be recognized. Thank you. So we educate together, and with them, I'm going to be telling you today about what it means. No child is dull. Oops, we have it upside down. Well, I'll try to start while we try to fix that and see if we can do it. All right, thank you. So, we all have a desire, and that's why we're here. We have a desire as parents to bring up our children. We have expectations. We have what we expect to see and how we expect to raise them. Unfortunately, it's not always the way we expect things. Now, I have to use my cathedral coin. If I have one, but I hope the car is installed. Yeah, it will. I'm trying. All right, so I was saying that we have a desire, and we want to see that our children turn out well, and we all do it. So it reminds me of my friend. We got married about the same period of time, and sometimes when I visit the city of Lagos, we stay in her house and all that. And she's the kind of person that if there is a ballet class somewhere, she's quick to drive her child there. Okay, so there's a new lesson teacher in town who is good in math, common entrance practice. You find her going there. Then you find out that now there's another one in town that helps them with Singapore math. There she goes again. And then one day we got talking and I asked her, why do you do all this? And in our typical, how we are sisters and Yoruba, she said to me, allow me to say this in Yoruba. That's it, don't you want the applause for your child too? You see, that's what we all want. We all want the applause for our child, for our children. But sometimes it does not always work that way. And it's not because we're not trying. And then at times also, it's actually part of our own innate desire. We think we've given them everything. Will the slide still come? We think we've done our best for them. Number 3, just follow me. We think we've done everything for them, but the truth is, we're actually trying to fulfill our own self-actualization. We provided them, that's Maslow's theory says that you give them the physiological need, you love them, provide safety, esteem, and everything. And at the end of the top rung is self actualization, not only for them, but also for us. First of all, for them, because yes, every child should go through the triangle and come out successful at the end. And the child can actually come to the realization of it. This is who I am because I made myself, I tried to do what I was supposed to do. Then, as parents, it also means that we have not failed in our role as parents and we try to help them. So, this is why we are all here. This is all what we all try to do every time. But so today, if you think we're going to be talking about, please, I need somebody to stay by that so you can change it. Thank you. So if we think we're all going to be talking about the DIY, how to make the 3 steps to making the genius out of your child, well, I may be able to convince you or not convince you that there is no quick fix to it. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't really work overnight. You don't turn your child into a genius overnight. But that's not to say that you don't try. That's not to say that you don't take the necessary steps or you don't do the things that are necessary. But I want us to look at some things. Why is it that sometimes it doesn't always work as we expect? Perhaps there are some factors that inhibit this progress, or perhaps there are some things that we are overlooking, that some low-hanging fruits that we have missed, for which reason our child is not turning out to be the genius yet as we expect him to be. Okay, so first of all, here's my own story. I grew up as a young girl, like I have that in common with Mr. Chris. I think you said that you were the last in your family. Was it you? Okay, the first. Well, I grew up as the last child, and because of that, my older siblings were, I think my sister is at least 4 years older than I am, so we didn't grow up about the same, we didn't do the same things at the same time. So I grew up loving myself and liking to play all alone by myself, which is not wrong anyway. But it also developed my interest, and I always felt, well, I could tinker, I could put things together, I could arrange things. So naturally, I felt, okay, maybe I'll make a good engineer. So that's what I thought I wanted to be. And then you see, what I'm saying is that we all have, and then I also grew up in the age where, I don't know if it's different, I hope it is, we have expectations. You need to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, and so on. So naturally, when I said I wanted to become an engineer, it was well received, although my grandfather was a bit disappointed. He had always thought I would be the doctor in the family. So, but well, engineering was still okay. So I went ahead, sat for JAM, went on to the university, and I started to study electrical engineering. However, it is interesting that this was also the days when, we would, now it seems that our children, and so many of them, they just fly through and they get there straight. I had to write my own SSC twice. And why? Because I didn't make my physics and my chemistry. Perhaps that should have been an indication that maybe engineering was not really what I should have been studying. So I wrote it a second time and then I made it not too bad. I had a 4 in chemistry and a 6 in physics, but I still went on to study electrical engineering. Okay, I did not have any issues with that. But again, to think that I can't really remember that I ever had someone ask me or look at this kind of result and think perhaps you will do better elsewhere. Not minding the fact that while I was in school, secondary school, I won the prizes for English literature, English language, and my dad was a professor in that line, and so it was easy for me. I could relate with that. But I was still fixated on studying the electrical engineering I wanted to. And I did study, went through the 5 years, graduated on time, but it was a struggle. It wasn't an overnight, like some people will get it. I got it on time, but I can't really say I enjoyed it. So sometimes I look back at my university experience now, and maybe I look at some of the things that I missed, because I was always there in between my books, just trying to get it right. It wasn't funny. It wasn't easy. You know the kind of educational experience that you have that you say, God, if I can just graduate, I'll serve you forever. That was my experience. Well, I'm still serving God. I graduated. Thank God. But to think that things could have been different. I finished and went on. Fortunately, I got a good job in a multinational, rose through the ranks. But then later on, it occurred to me that I wanted something better for my life. So I quit my job at that point, delved into some business, and then I decided I wanted to do an MBA. So I went off to UK, did an MBA, and I made a distinction. And for me, it was easy. It was self revalidation for me. It was for me to see that I could actually be good at something. I could see that I didn't have to struggle, I didn't have to, it just came easy for me. And I also know that while I was working also, the kind of job I did, I was always in front of the other staff, making presentations and showing them things from slides. And I always knew that I think I'd rather be a teacher than, even while I was in school, sometime also, during my undergraduate years, I actually considered changing to education, but I felt, what will people say? So I didn't want to think about it. But thank God that I had this other chance, and then here I am now doing what I love. And it's very important also as parents for us to allow our children to do what they love. I know we're all logical, particularly I have a 17-year-old son now, and I know he's at that crossroad also. He's picking his subjects for SSC, and he's come home to say that he wants to study dramatic theater arts or something. And my husband is like, how will this one pay the bills? And how do you think that if you study, you can always pick it up as a hobby or something. But somewhere deep inside, we always said, let him do what he loves to do. Because it's better for you to soar, in your area of strength than for you to be crawling and groping and struggling. It doesn't really add up. So one thing I would like us to take away from this parent is by the end of my story and my presentation anyway, I want you to go back and look at some of these areas where or what the things that we have to do, as I call them, low-hanging fruits that we need to pluck. There's no point reaching up there and trying to jump when there's some things that you can easily pluck, and this will help children as well. All right, so that was my story. There's the more popular story out there of someone who he was slow to talk. You can go back to that. He was slow to talk. The nanny called him the foolish one. He failed the first time trying to get into the polytechnic, but he got in because he was good at math and he was good in physics as well. But all the other results were not. He flunked them. Then he started to work and he made a poor performance at work. And then he failed again. But guess what? He won the Nobel Prize later on. Who is that person? Yeah, Albert Einstein. I tried to look for a Nigerian example, someone who, well, maybe because of the mathematical formulas, maybe if we have someone who has actually written one like that, like E is equal to MC squared or something that we can remember, then I would have been able to, but at least you can relate with my own story at least. Okay, so but he said one thing. He said, it's not that I'm smart. It's just that I stay with the problems longer. Most people say that it is the intellect which makes a great scientist. They are wrong. It's actually the character. So as parents, we're the ones expected to build the character for our children. Or we help them, we take them through that path and then they can build on it. So I want us to look at a few things that matter this afternoon. So first of all, every child has potential. I believe that strongly. And that's part of what the mantra in my school, it says no child is left behind. There's something unique in every child. And then your place as a parent is to help them, is to motivate them. The opportunities are bound. You provide the support. When we link these two things together, what do you get? You get high achievement. So how do we get high achievement? How do we find high achieving children? Well, geniuses, everybody can be a genius in one area or the other. But what is important is for us to be able to identify. By the way, let me explain that word genius. Um, there's an analogy, or it reminds us of the story of there's this Arabian folk tale, Aladdin and the genie. Some of us may remember it. So you remember every time that he rubbed the lamp, and Aladdin and the lamp. So every time he rubbed the lamp, then the genie came out. So that's also the way the genius in us comes out. You have to rub it. You have to do something extra to bring it out. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to talk about some of the things that we take for granted or we assume or we need to know. The first one is about plasticity. Just think of plasticine. The brain has that ability. Brains are malleable. Let me say it that way. Brains are malleable and brains can grow. And IQ is not fixed yet. As I said, if you remember the example of plasticine, you know that it can adapt to the shape that we give it. It's the quality to be able to retain pressure under deformation and to stay at that. So what it means is that you don't give up on a child. You don't think that because he or she has failed once, that is the end. As I said, it just might be that you have not found how to channel the opportunities for that particular child. Then it also reminds us that we can train our brains. And all we need, in about 5 days, according to what the researchers say, in about 5 days or more, you can start to condition your brain to do the kind of things you expect it to do. Let me give you an example. In London, in the days where, not like now when you have Uber and the other cab hailing apps, where you could only ride on the black cabbies. I'm sure some of us know those cabbies. And you wonder where there was no GPS at that time, but you pick one from Heathrow in the airport and tell him you're going to N1 stroke 5EP, and off he goes. How did he know it? So they had to sit through like this rigorous exam that takes them through all the streets. I mean, and it's on record to say that it actually takes them through about 320 routes, 20,000 landmarks within a 6 mile radius of about 25,000 streets, and they know everywhere. How did that happen? They train their brains. So it was examined to say that, like the part of their brain, maybe it's the hippocampus or something like that, that is responsible for that, is actually magnified. If you did an MRI scan, you find that that part of their brain is magnified because they have to train it to do these things. And then later on, after retiring from the black cab business, you find that the same driver, because he's no longer using that part of his brain, may no longer be able to do it. So just for us to realize that. Another example I can relate with was my secondary school teacher, my mathematics teacher. His name was Mr. Greg. I always refer to him because I know he taught me math, but he didn't teach me math in the usual way. The only thing I remember that he ever did with us in class was ask us to come to school with a jotter every day. How many of us use new general math when we were in secondary school? You know, to have questions A to I, 1J, 1A to I, chapter 2, A to E, A to. So the only thing Mr. Greg used to do for us then was bring out your book. Just bring it, check it. So for those of us who are studious and dedicated and will go the whole length of it to do what he said, that was how we made our A's in maths. You didn't have to, yes, of course, I know that you have questions you need to tackle, but the point was that practice, 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 practice brought out the best in us in mathematics. And the same principle still applies. If you do the same thing over and over and over and over again, you get the best result. Another example I can relate with, we all talk about Bill Gates, and then there's this 10,000 hour principle. Some of us may have read of this research. It says that when you do the same thing over and over for a period of about 10,000 hours, that thing becomes normal to you, becomes next nature to you. So the story goes that his mom used to work in a library or something, and so he had the privilege or opportunity to be able to go sit in the library and work overnight, programming and doing web and all that. And then no wonder he turned out to be who we know him to be today. There's another example of the Beatles, a musical band in the 60s. Same thing happened. They needed to prepare for a particular performance, I can't remember, but because they were not good enough or something like that. But then they went back and then they practiced and they accumulated up to 10,000 hours of practice. Then it became the norm for them. So what I'm saying in essence is that sometimes all we need to do is this focus, practice. And our role as parents is to make sure that our children focus and do not give up easily. All right, so more of that later. The question I'm about to ask now, is it really, based on what I've said now, is it nature or is it nurture? What actually makes the difference in our learning environment, or what makes the difference in the outcome of our children? Would you say it's nature or it's nurture? Well, I'll say it's a mixture of both. So first of all, we look at the genes. Like I said, some of us also, please be careful, parents. You don't tell your child, well, I wasn't really good at math, so if you are not good, huh? I wasn't good at math, so if you are not good, I'm not surprised. No, that's not really true. And I know some parents they give up like, now it's okay. I know it was not really my thing. That's fine. So the point point is that it's a bit of, yes, your genes actually play a part. And it's interesting that the two male speakers, both of you have twins. That's serendipity. So nice of that. I wanted to have twins, but I don't know, maybe maybe parenting would have been double work for me. I don't know. But the truth is, even with the research, says that even twins, while except if they're identical, they have similar genes a lot. So because of that, but they'll still differ in some things. You still cannot say they're 100%. They don't turn out 100% the same. And what our children from the same parents? You think that you raise? I have a friend of mine whose her child. I mean, her children will come to my summer school and we grew up together. She was very gentle, very calm. But we found out that she had this daughter who was just everywhere. And she would look at me and say, Sis, I don't know how this happened. We thought we had it all together. So it's not to say that the child is not, I mean, she didn't try for the child. And it's not to say that the child is wild. Then it's just that she's an extrovert. She doesn't keep quiet. She always wants to make her voice known and all that. So the truth is that while we have you bring up your children the same way, but because of their individual differences, which is my second point, they may still turn out differently. So you cannot really control that. You cannot hammer and say, be like your brother, be like your sister. Can you not see? They're just different. They're wired differently. We're all wired differently. And then the third one is to say that even our social and environmental differences make the difference in our outcome as well. Now, I want to give an example in a school in the UK, I mean, just generally looking at, we all know that Oxford, Cambridge, those are the top schools that people would rather be. But it says that in a particular school, Eton College, which I think many of us will know that, where Prince Harry, the royal family finished from, 82 children from that school enrolled in Oxford and Cambridge in a particular year. Meanwhile, only 50 children of those attending school feeding schools, because of course if you attend a school where they feed you daily meals in the UK, that means it's of the lower cadre. So only 50 of them could make the entrance into that school. That shows you sometimes your background also affects the opportunities you're able to present to your child. So don't even go to school and start comparing your child with her classmates, because sometimes you don't even know the exposures that they have at home. Which also reminds me also about the genes as well. That even if you think that you have put everything in place, like I said, even if the genes are such that your child would ordinarily have done well. But what if you are the kind of parent that you get home, you pick them from school, and you come home and you're watching Telemundo or something, and your child, my apologies if you watch that, really, and your child also sits beside you and she forgets to do her homework and she doesn't. So even if she has the brightest of genes and she has the brightest of everything, if you don't provide the right enabling environment, there's no amount of lesson teachers or everything that you will provide that will make that child to excel. So you see, it's a combination of all the factors that will bring out the best in our children. All right. So my next point says, let the children play. Please allow the children to do what? I'm saying this because in my school, and thank God I can see that we have. I saw one of the banners over there for childcare. You have a parent coming to school and saying, "How old is my child? She's 2. I want her to finish. You graduate by 14." My question is, where are you rushing to? And then you said, "No, she's too smart. If you see how she's pressing YouTube, you know that she should be in pre-nursery or." Please allow a child to play. Like I'm always saying, look at those of us sitting here. You can't really tell if you are older than I am or she's older. We all look the same. Adulthood is a leveler. We all turn out the same. But you can tell the difference between a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old. They are different. So why do we always want to rush them? I get this from time to time. I get this a lot. Another example, I'm very passionate about this as well. Then you want them to finish from primary 5 and go to where? So that what will happen? So that they can write Cambridge. So after they write the Cambridge, then they will now do what? For what end? Or even for the pre-nurseries as well. You bring a child to school and child's already writing 1, 2. What's a 2-year-old doing with writing 2? So that she can count 2 naira or 2 eggs or what? It doesn't really matter. So it's an appeal. Allow the children to play. Allow them to take their time to grow and mature through the stages that they should be. I'm not going to dwell much on parenting values because I feel all the other speakers will do better justice to it because that's why we're here. So that I can move past on my own point. But the point is that children that come out from homes where there's intentional parenting, and thank God for people like Dr. Vivian and conscious parenting, they come out better. Let me mention this quickly as well. Now, the birthday effect. That means that if a child was born in August born, compared to a child who was born in September, you will not, when I say September, that means the school year is supposed to start in September. So it's possible that your child and my child may have been born the same year. But because let's say my child was born August 28th, yours was born in November, ideally then of the same year. They're not supposed to be in the same year. But because in Nigeria we're so, we don't really follow that ideally. But studies have shown that children who are or younger than their age, they don't really do well in school. They need time to understand and grapple because of what I said. They need to play. So there's no point rushing them and taking them ahead of their time. Now, I'm not going to talk about prematurity. It's the same way. If your child was born prematurely, okay, should have been born in April but was born in January, she will still naturally, the physiology of that child mentally will still develop according to the 9 months of gestation that should have taken place. This is also very important. I'm just rushing through now. Preschool, we already said that. With preschool, it's very fundamental because that's when the children they learn creativity, they learn problem solving. It's not just jelly or simi. Apologies, that's the name there. But it's not just let the child be at home and be resting. Stay out of trouble. It's an important element of their growth stage. And we don't take that for granted. Then I must not fail to mention the special needs. So some of us, our children have special needs. They're in school, all right, but it may be autism, that they have difficulties with social interactions, imagination, communication, and all that. Or it could be dyslexia, word blindness. They can't read coherently like that. Or ADHD, impulsive, hyperactive, they find it hard to concentrate. So these problems are real. And it's not just for you to say that I reject it in Jesus' name. They are actually real. I believe in prayers. I believe in miracles. But the truth is, when your child has been not first of all when you suspect that your child may be going through any of this, it's time for you to ponder and look back and say, okay, what do we do about it? If you need to meet a specialist, if you need to meet someone who can help find out. In my practice, I've had parents come to me and I'm picking them. I think your child has this, your child has this. I said, I'm not a specialist, so I'll just advise you. I said, have you heard what dyslexia is? And the parent is like, what's that? And I'm surprised. The truth is, whatever it is, you should at least have checked or tried to decipher and say, what can this possibly be? Even in the Bible, when what's it called? The shepherds, they brought gifts to Mary when Jesus was born. The Bible says that she pondered in her heart what kind of child this was. You need to look at your own child too and say, what is this child turning out to be? You don't just take things for granted. My father too was like that when I was there. Even my grandfather is in our family. Okay, that was then. Those were days of ignorance. Now we have a lot of information and knowledge, and we don't just allow things to grow like that. So is it good to label them? I'm going to say, well, yes, you label them not because you just want to set them apart, but when you label them or when you identify these things, it means that you can start taking action. I have a 3-year-old who came to my school. He's about 7 now, but because his parents detected early and then they started taking the necessary measures of therapy and all that, and then also putting him in an inclusive school matters. Studies say that when children are in special needs children, if you put them in an inclusive setting, it helps them, well, if they are able to cope at that time, it helps them to respond better and they get better. And then typical children also who learn to study or school together with special needs children. It also helps with empathy, it helps them with tolerance. So it's actually a win-win for both of them. So it's very important. I'll soon finish. All right, so what I'm saying in essence is that motivation matters. So how do we motivate our children? It's very important. Now, I'm going to tell us a story. I think that's my story time. Story time! Story time! All right, I'm not going to tell the story because it's very long, but I'm just going to tell you a bit about it. All right, so the title of my story says Giraffes Can't Dance. I'm going to just summarize it. But what this story says is that there was a time in the jungle when all the animals came together and they had this very special, just be children like me, okay? And relate with my story. So they had this very special time when they would dance. So the chimpanzees will dance together, the deers would probably do their thing together. But the giraffe found out that he couldn't dance. Why? Because his legs were too, they seemed too long actually. And then he had a very long neck. So he was really bothered about it and was like, so one day he stood out there and he was thinking, but he didn't see his advantage that he could actually reach to the moon. And he stood there and he was saying, why is it that I can't dance like the others? Why am I at such a big disadvantage? And then out comes a cricket that comes to him and says that excuse me, Cuff the cricket, while he saw, okay, the name of the giraffe was Gerald. He said that it's not that you really can't dance, it's just that sometimes the music you listen to is different. He said that if I play your own kind of tune, you probably will be able to dance. So he brought out his violin and then he started to play for him. And very soon he saw that his legs were wobbly. I mean, his legs that were wobbly started to sway to the music. His neck went one way, and then he said, "Oh wow, I can dance! I can dance!" So he went back to the other animals and they saw him dancing. So they asked him, Gerard, how come you are dancing now? And then what did he say? You can show it on the next slide. So, you know, all the naysayers that felt that no, this one can never dance. But he surprised them and he started to dance. How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerard, tell us how. What did he say? Then he said, we can all dance. Next slide. He said, we can all dance when we find the music that we love. So that's the story. Thank you. So remember what I said at the beginning that there needs to be motivation. There was that cricket, somebody that pulled out the music and changed the beat, and then that's when he discovered himself and saw that he can dance. That's to say, what I said before, you support people, children's psychological needs are supported in different ways. There's no one way to it to say that no, I have to do this. You have to provide the necessary support, the necessary motivation. And then I'm going to just end on the last factor. To put all that together is the growth mindset. In my school for this session, for this term, our theme says growth mindset, and we found an acronym for it. It says grit, resilience, open-mindedness with tenacity will give you high performance. Another one is curiosity. I'm glad that we talked about it. Allow the children to be curious. When they are curious, then they can solve problems. Problem mindedness, I mean, problem solving skills is built from curiosity. They say curiosity killed the cat. Is it really true? All right, that saying actually came because some people, the age when they believe that children are supposed to be seen and not heard. That's where it started from. But from these days, allow our children to ask questions. Allow them to ask questions. Please answer their questions. I like the way Irene answered that question, particularly on how whether daddy twice or something. I like the answer because I was already thinking of how I would have answered that if it was me. But that's it. I have no special talents. That's what Albert Einstein said. Let's go to that. He says, I'm just only passionately curious. So if you allow this together, build motivation in our children through the activities that we engage in, allow their curiosity to grow, you will find out that no child is dull. You just have to play the music that that child loves. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, man. So in a way, I feel I didn't really express how the magnitude of what was coming to the stage after I left. Please, if you don't mind, and I'm sure you enjoyed that session because I did, kindly give her a resounding round of applause. Thank you very much, madam. That was awesome. Thank you. So I realized that many. Okay, let me just example. Many Igbo people that are in the market, selling spare parts, they probably didn't go to school, they didn't read maths, but you cannot cheat them with money. They didn't do maths, oh. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, everybody is a genius. God didn't make a nobody. All right, so we're going to be having a very short presentation of 5 minutes, and then we're going to head to other amazing things before we call it a day. permit me to invite upstage from Gradley, I beg your pardon, I'm sorry, thank you very much. Gradley, Mr. Boye. Please a round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And this is an amazing conference. It's my first parent summit, and I'm not yet a parent, so I'm doing it in advance of being a parent, and which is going to be very soon, hopefully. I'm just here to talk a little bit about
Writing's not that easy,
in my own journey.
but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
That to really succeed, and when I say by the time I was finishing back when I was in university and I was learning computer science, I hadn't finished school when I got a message from a top CEO. What are you doing after school? And I think that that's kind of the dream, right? To not need to ask. I've never used my CV for anything before, and I've run companies before. I've run 3 companies. One was not mine, and the one previously is a fintech company, and now I'm in our space, the education space. And I think that 3 factors that I would say are responsible for kind of just that success in child development or just being a star kid is mastery. And it doesn't matter what field it is, and that's what some people don't understand, right? It doesn't matter what field it is. If you achieve mastery in something, whether that's chess, whether that's in an aspect, whether that's football, whether that's mathematics, whatever it is, you have a confidence that makes you want to go on learning more. And so you start to solve problems as if, and then you go like, if I solved, it's like a David story. If I kill the lion, I kill the bear. Who is this Goliath? And so I think mastery is important. Autonomy is very important. The ability to determine within yourself that this is what I want to do. And that's what our parents must not prevent our children from having. You need to give them that space. What do you really want to do? And the last one is purpose. And I think that one of my purpose in life is to help the next generation of children to break the economic potential barrier that's in Africa, right? And I know many of you have heard about startups and how they're raising a lot of money. I have friends that are billionaires now. And I just want to say a little bit about what Gradely, the company I recently co-founded, does. And I'll start with saying, how do you know when your child is falling behind? That's a very important question. By the time one of our customers, Mrs. Uche, was asking that question, it was too late. Her child had failed in mathematics, in IGCSE, and WAEC. And she had spent about 20 million naira in the school system. The number one reason why schools exist is to enable children succeed academically. You can then, make character and other things and then work with the family to do the others. And so when people don't find out on time where their child really is, it's a big problem. And it's a problem for all of us. Why? Because we depend on report cards that come once in 3 months and gives us a grade that we cannot do anything about. By the time you get a C and you have to move into a new class, what happened to the questions you did not understand? What happened to the concepts you did not know? Even those of us that got an A in math in WAEC, we did not know a lot of things in math. Like, of course, university showed us Pepe, so we know that we did not know enough, right? Because even when you get 70 over 100, you miss 30. Talk less of when you get a D. And schools are doing something that's not good nowadays, which is trying to make the parents feel happy. And so that child that got an F in IGCSE never got an F in school. Yeah. Got a C, a D, some comments, watch out, needs to improve, until the final one. So what Gradely does is that we're supporting schools. So we also have something called a learning management system for schools. And their proprietors here, we're happy to talk to you. And parents to personalize learning for children. And to make sure that when you find out a learning gap on time, through practice on a daily basis, we have video lessons, on-demand tutors, and we support schools as well to do remedial classes to plug those gaps. So if you go to gradely.ng, you can sign up as a parent, add your children, you can invite your school, right? Your school gets a free plan, and so you can actually invite your school for a free trial. And when you pay for it, you basically have access to video lessons, to have access to practice. And then you can also book tutors one-on-one. Our goal, to finish my short speech, our goal is that we actually create individualized learning paths for children as early as possible. Teaching to the average student in class is not going to work for the next generation of kids. Of course, you guys have heard that they are digital natives. I found out that there's a generation behind me and they're different from me. And I'm young. And there's a generation behind them that's different from them. And so many of us teachers and educators are teaching many generations coming. The kind of problems they will face in the next set of decades, you do not have an idea. Nobody knew what search engine optimization was. It was university were just saying, what does that mean? A completely different type of job that we hire for today. So essentially, that's my speech is done, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Um, so very quickly, we're going to be going into uh, I don't want to say gender roles, but that's what it sounds like. As regards, okay, please can we pay attention to the screen as we.
My name's Ademiju Olushola. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a girl child who is 12 years old and in GSS2. But maths as a subject was a no-go area for her. So we got an home lesson teacher for her who actually comes to the house. Ademiju Olushola. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a girl child who is 12 years old and in GSS2. But maths as a subject was a no-go area for her. So we got an home lesson teacher for her who actually comes to the house to take her. But due to the pandemic, we had to stop, and then I couldn't just leave her like that. So I went surfing online to search for sites that offers educational assistance. I got a few of them, and then radio was one of them. Initially, when you tell Hilary to bring a math notes or a math textbooks for me to see and then maybe see how I can help her out, you will see that sad expression on her face. But ever since she's been on Gradely, Hilary would say, I'm a mathematician. Gradely would work with you to your own convenience. They don't impose anything on you. They make everything so comfortable with you. The tutors would ask when you would want them to have the lectures with you. Not like they have a particular fixed time for particular subjects. They are flexible. The question and answer session gives you the child's performances, where the child is weak, where as a parent and where you need tutors to take over from there. The monthly subscription of 1,500 naira, we're talking for 4,000 questions, that is unbeatable. Most of the choices I've had were basically American curriculum, but Gradely offers Nigeria and British curriculum. I have recommended, I am recommending, and I'll continue to recommend Gradely NG.
Hi, my name is Hilary Adeniju and I use Gradely. I'm just Gradely has really helped me with mathematics. It's like I now get to understand mathematics better. I like the creativeness, the colorfulness. I like the one-on-one tuition with the teachers, which make you understand what you don't understand better. And it helps me with my school exams, my junior work exam, and all other external exams.
Really making every child a successful learner.
Right, a round of applause for great. Thank you. So yeah, an apple doesn't grow in some places because of the atmosphere. Give them the right atmosphere, they get the apple. All right, so we'll go ahead to how to be a present mom. I know this is important, so um, I don't want to say too much of that because of the time, but can we have the profile read? By the way, she's an articulate person. Let me just put it that way. I mean, so, I'm ready for us.
Yes, pick it.
While that comes up, please. While that comes up, it is important that we leave here with with the right knowledge. So, in case you have a question, kindly put the question down or the questions down, and when it is time, I'm going to attend to them. So I'm just probably just going to walk around and then get the questions from you. Just call my attention. But please put down your questions. Thank you. Let's go.
John Mukedi Wawa is a public policy lawyer, author, and a parenting and family life advocate. This mother of four is the author of the children's books First Day at the Big School, Fun Day at the Museum, and Fun Trip to the Village, as well as the Goals, Gratitude, and Growth Journal. Shona is passionate about seeing women become all God has called them to be, while not neglecting other roles they may play in life, such as motherhood and nation building. She is also the founder of Let's Encourage a Reading Nation, Learn, which is aimed at improving literacy among children. She is also on the board of several organizations. She holds an LLB from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, as well as an MBA from Anglia Ruskin University and an MPA from the University of Exeter, both in the UK. She is a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. She blogs on her platform and others and enjoys speaking on gender issues, parenting, family life, and literacy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Chioma Nwokedi Mwoma.
Please keep it going.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really good to be here. Vivian, thank you so much. Please clap for Dr. Vivian. Thanks for putting this together. It's really an honor to be speaking at the Parent Summit Africa. Africa speaks of the continent of a global reach, and this is going places in Jesus' name. When I saw my name on the program, I said, Vivian, I thought you liked me. Why would you allow these fabulous people to speak before me? What do you want me to say again? Please clap for all the wonderful speakers in the house. It's really, really an honor and a pleasure to be here. And I love the topic that Vivian gave me because as a mother of four, and from my profile, you see I'm a very busy mom. Like most of us are, we're all very busy parents. To even take out time, all the hours we've been here, it took some planning, it took some intentionality. So we're all really busy people. So how do you be present? With all the books you're writing, I have a full-time job, I'm coaching, I'm mothering, I have a 17-year-old who's off to university tomorrow, I have a 16-year-old who's writing SATs soon and always in my room and asking me, oh, what do I do now? I have a 13-year-old daughter who is at that stage of life where she's, you know how teenagers are, teenage girls, and then I have a 7-year-old who still thinks he's a baby and just wants to be with mommy. In fact, he was meant to be with me here today, but his cousin came over. So, and then I have a husband. So everybody needs attention, and I have an active social life as well. I'm busy in church, I go for parties. If I'm from here, I have a party, 20 minutes, just, I'll pop in and go off. So, how do we make it work? How are you there for your children? And for those who matter the most, how do you give them the best of you so that you can have time to be yourself, to be whole, and impact them the way they should be? Because the truth is that they are the most important people, not the job, not the books, not any other thing you're doing. They, your family, your children, they are the ones that have been given to you by God to pour into for some years. And once they go to university, the truth is that at that stage they are, already going out. Once they enter boarding school, to be honest, how often are you seeing them anymore? Holidays, visiting days, and that's it. So how can you be present? How can you truly be there? How can you be there for what matters and let them feel your impact? The first thing, really, the first way to be present really is your time. Zig Ziglar says that the way a child spells love is Time. Let's say it together. Time. 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 So while some people will say, oh, it's really about quality time, the quantity, it's not true. Quality time is important, but the quantity is important. Because how much quality can it have if it's hardly there? If there's no quantity to it in the first place. So you must spend time with these children. You must have time for them. You must say, look, this is what I'm going to do today, and this is how I'm going to do it. Because nothing can replace the time you spend with these children. That's the honest truth. Ask your child any day. Sometimes I pick up my younger one from school and he'll say, Mommy, are you going back to the office? Because if you're going back, please next time don't pick me. Because he wants me to stay with him to the end of the day. That's what he wants. Because there's nothing more important than seeing mommy or daddy with them at that age. They really want to be around you. So your time is important, the quality of it and the quantity of it. But there's so many things that affect this time that we have. Distractions, things that juggle for these 24 hours that we have. And one of them is this: our mobile phones, our gadgets. For many of us, Auntie Chichi, good to see you. For many of us, this is like our office, how we catch all the gossip. For those of us that create content, how we create content. It's our camera, how we take pictures. We do so much on these gadgets. And it's easy for time to just go as you're flipping. You see one thing and you forget what you went there to see. I start looking at, this dress is nice. What's happening? And that's it. And then, you're on your phone and time just goes by. So you need to be intentional about how much time you spend on these gadgets. They're there to help you make your life easier. They're not there to be an impediment. And they can't take away the time that is meant for your family and meant for you. So you need to use them wisely. You should use them, they should not use you. There are a lot of apps we can use to help us when we're on Instagram, so that when your time for Instagram is up, and you can put your phone down. So gadgets, TV, Big Brother, so many things take up our time, and we need to say, look, I hardly watch TV, that's the honest truth, because with all the time I have, I said, okay, what's most important to me now? And on that list, TV comes way down. So I do watch a good series now and then, but I don't have that much time. So I'm very intentional about the things I give my time, my essence to, because time can never be gotten back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Even with friends, who do I spend time with? What are we talking about? Because that time you spend gisting with that person who is adding absolutely nothing to your life can never be gotten back. You can spend that time at home, just staring at your baby. I tell you, that child will get more value, even if they can't talk, by just having their mother or their father close to them. And then, like I said, social life. Today, I was meant to be at a prayer meeting. I had this event. I have a birthday party. I have a service of songs. I have another meeting, 5. What do? You choose. You can't be everywhere at every time. It's not possible. Sometimes we overrate our importance. Which of the events do you need to be at? Which one will, if you're not there, will they say, where's Ronke? What happened? She has a role to play here. Or you go there, you'll be the first person there before the event has started. If it's wedding, you'll be there, and you will stay So I think they're parking plates, you're still there. I don't understand. The other day someone called me and said, I should come and escort her to somebody's child's wedding. I'm one big man. I said, I will dress up, make up, and then come back. I'm not saying you can escort your friends and hang out with them and spend time, don't get me wrong. But you have to be very, very intentional about what you spend your time on. Prioritize. That prayer meeting, I could have gone this morning. It's a good meeting. But I knew I was going to be here today, and I knew I had something else to do. So I said, no. There'll be another meeting next week and the week after. It's okay. Yes, the because I could have liked to see me, I know. I'll make it up to her. But time with my family, that time I spent with them this morning, priceless. Priceless. So we need to know what is important. Major on the major. Remove those things that are impediments and then have a cook, a burner. What are the things that need to be on the front burner that need your attention constantly? What are the things that you can put at the back and let them just be steaming for like 24 hours? Everything doesn't need the same amount of time. So remove the distractions that are limiting the time you spend with these children so you can truly be present with them. And then let's go back to the quality. Yes, we've said it has to have quantity and it must have quality. Certainly it must have quality. Somebody was speaking, I think it was Haji Halima that was saying how her father was so precious and she couldn't wait to get out of the house. And obviously the time she spent with her father wasn't quality time. She didn't enjoy it. Or her mother shouting, that wasn't quality time. She didn't want it. And my son, my 17-year-old said something one day, he said, Mommy, when I go, the bus, at times they drop us off. And there's some children, when they see their parents' cars outside, they're like, oh man, why is mommy home? Why? And then there's some that they see their parents, they're like, oh, mommy is home, daddy is back. And he said, you will never understand the first group. How can you be unhappy that your parents are back from work early? How? And I said, because the time they're spending at home with them is not good. It's not memorable. It doesn't have quality. It lacks essence. They are constantly being nagged at, being criticized, complaining at them, shouting at them, carrying all the stress of their whatever else they're dealing with, and pouring on this innocent child who didn't ask to be born. So that's why. That's why. So the time you're spending with your children is quality time. What are you doing with them? For some children, yes, you take them out, but all you know how to do is to take them to eat. That's all. That's your only enjoyment with children. It's not bad though, it's good. But that's all. There's no variety. Someone told me that her child said, Mommy, I'm tired of going for pizza. That's all you do. I'm tired. The girl, she was tired. That's your only outing. And let's go out, children. Pizza time. So at the point, she said, oh, Mommy, it's okay, I have homework because she's tired. So she was telling me that, I need to be more creative and think of things to do. And we need to think of things to make that time more enjoyable. The time spent with you must be time that they look forward to. So that when daddy is coming home, they are rushing to the door, not running away to say, daddy is back, wahala. The time they spend with you must be time that they're like, oh, every minute they're holding on to it. You shouldn't be distracted in that time, which is why I speak about that phone issue. Sometimes your children are with you, you're on the phone. I'm guilty because at times I'm like, I'm creating content. Hold on, it's like, Mommy, I'm talking. And there's time for work, there's time for your child. There's time to focus on them and say, okay, you know what? This isn't that important. Call me at 9 o'clock. We'll create that content later. This is time for my children. When they've gone to bed, I can do what I need to do. So you will have to be creative in creating that time. Because you always hear people say, I'm making time. I always wonder, what does that mean? How can you make time? But you can be creative about making more time for your children. When you're saying, I want it to be time that has quality. Maybe you have to wake up a bit earlier. Maybe you have to do school runs once in a while, even though it's difficult for you. Maybe you have to go for walks with them. Do things that will make them know that mom is human. A lot of us, our parents don't know we're ever young. They think we grew as in adults because of the way you are around them. You act like there's nothing wrong with you. You're perfect in every way. You've always been that. And they can't even relate with you, which makes it hard for them to even enjoy being around you. So have fun, have conversations. Talk with them, talk to them. Don't just talk at them. Don't let every time with your child be a time for, how are your studies? Okay, very good. Okay, go and do your homework. That's it. No relationship, nothing beyond that. All I want you to do is confess. We paid plenty school fees. That's all. That's all you want to know. What happened to asking about their friends and knowing who their friends are? What happened to discussing maybe the crush that they have and telling them, look, it happened to me as well, but there's time for everything. What happened to telling them about how your day at work was? So they can know that you too, you have, people annoy you and you know how to deal with that, you know how to tolerate people. What happened to just asking them, Speed Darlington, what do you think about that guy? To even know how they think of, what his opinion about all these things are going on. Because it's important, so you can even correct errors, inaccuracies, and just, because they know anyway. Even if you say, oh, in my house we don't watch Big Brother, they know everybody in the house. They know everybody. So you better talk to them. You better have real conversations with them. You better let them know what you stand for as a family and make sure these values are passed across clearly. And you can only do that through quality time. Have lunch together. Sometimes it's not easy because you close at a particular time, but maybe Sunday afternoons, Saturday mornings, make it something the children will look forward. Prayer time. With my children, I try and do morning and evening. You could do one or two, twice a day. Those, even if it's 5 minutes, I promise you, that is presence. That has been there. During that time, you can ask them, how was your day? Share your testimony. That way, just, oh, this happened in the office today. What do you have? What are you grateful for? And just be playing with them, and they will open up and they will talk. So we need to spend quality time with them. And then if you're very busy and you have a lot of things to do, like me, sometimes if I have a radio interview, I take my children with me. Someone taught me that. And for them, it's a different experience, like an excursion of sorts, because they're learning about the radio, and you're there working. In my office, they all know my children, because I bring them to wine, so they can understand this is what mommy does for a living. I'm spending time with them, they're seeing what I do. It's important. These are all times of always spending quality time with your children. And still talking about that quality time. What happens when they're in school? How can you be present when your child is in school? It's not too hard. Participate. My mom's friend told me once, if you love your child, the school will love your child. What she was trying to say was that if your child is in school, I'm talking about the general school, especially the boarding houses of those days, if they see that you're that parent that will always come around, always ask questions, they won't mess with your child. They might say, this one, he always brings them no food. The truth is that people are they're very careful and mindful of certain things. If you're that parent that doesn't take, I'm not saying that one that goes to go and fight with the school, oh no, not that kind of parents. But the parent that shows up, the parent that participates, the parent that is an asset to the school. Your child is the last child anybody would even dare do anything funny to. So you need to show that you're present and you need to be part of the school community. In my children's school, I made sure they started a PTA in the secondary school. They didn't want to. They thought, oh, PTA, they will harass us, they will allow us to increase school fees. I said, no, we are here to partner with you to help out. We want to be part of our children's lives, even when they're in school. We know what you guys are doing, how you're acting in local parents, and we want to assist while they're in school. And they saw, look, this is a great idea, so that's why. And they've seen that we've been assets. We in the PTA have been assets to those schools. So you must participate. If your child is in boarding house, must know the headmaster, you must know their friends, you must know everything. Even if your child is in Lagos and you're here, the school must know you. That's how to be present. So that even when you're not there, your child feels you. Because presence really is not just about being there, but it's about being felt. Because somebody can be in this room and you won't even feel that the person is there. The person lacks presence. The person is invisible. The person is there. But when you have presence, everybody knows you're there. As a parent, you must have presence. And that goes to this thing that we talk about, developments. We all have big houses. Everybody is getting expanding. Your families are getting bigger by the grace of God. He's increasing you on every side. So you move from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom to a duplex. And everybody's in the house, but nobody is together. Every child is on their own system. You're in your room on your phone or watching Big Brother or whatever you're doing. Daddy is doing his work, in his study. Nobody is together, but you're all at home. Are you present in that case? No. So it's not just about being there. You have to actually say, okay, you know what? Let's be together. There's this thing we do now, there was a house I went to the other day, and every child had their own gaming system, this PS4 thing. Every child had their own. So nobody shares. That's what they're saying. You cannot share. Every room has a TV. I don't do TV in bedroom, by the way. Put the TV, let them stay together, let them commune, let them be present in each other's lives as even siblings. And you be there for them and see what they are watching and pay attention to them. So it's very, very important. And then communication. One way we must be present in our children's lives is that the way we communicate to them, verbally and non-verbally. Do you hug your child? Some children will say, Mommy, I love you. Oh no, we're not mommies. I think mommies have gotten over the whole I love you. It's daddy sometimes. I love you. Thank you. Or what do you want? Learn to use endearment with your child. Learn to be vulnerable. Hug them. Give them those hugs. Give them those kisses. Touch them. Talk to them. Like I said earlier, ask them how their day was. Talk about your own day to encourage them. And when you're communicating, your responses are very important. A friend told me how he told his mom how he liked this girl. He was 14. I like this girl. I really like her. And he told his mom who he felt he was really close to. And she went and told Baba. And Baba beat this guy. Already, girl. They want to get the girl pregnant. And that was the last time he ever talked to his mom about anything. And did he have girlfriends? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He didn't share anything. And she lost a vital time to be able to educate him on so many important issues. How to treat women, how to wait, the right time for sexual relations. She lost it. So communication is important with the way we do it. How do we do it? How do we react? How do we respond? Like I said, don't talk at them. Talk with them. Have conversations with them. My children, some parents might say, oh, you can't be your child's friend. I disagree. There's a place for that parenting thing, but there's a place for the friendship. It's a different kind of friendship. It's not the friendship of you and your classmate, but it's a friendship regardless. They should be able to open up and tell you. There's some things I will tell you about my child. My child, I know everything. I know their teachers, I know everything that's going on because they feel free to come and gist me, see what's going on. And because I've learned to communicate with them and tell them about myself. So they feel very free with me. Now, somebody mentioned self-help. I think it was Halima. You cannot be present in a useful manner if you're not okay. Your presence will end up harming the other person. Because, who knows, maybe that who was shouting was frustrated and having mental issues himself and just didn't know how to, he didn't know better. When you know better, you do better, for most people. So there was something my mom used to do when we were younger. She would come back from work. After we greet her, she would enter her room and lock the door for like 1 hour. And I couldn't understand it until I had children myself. I couldn't understand. And that her 1 hour in the room was, let me distress. I can't offer you guys anything right now. I'm tired, I'm irritable, they've annoyed me at work. I just need to. She'll have a bath, calm down, then she will open the door. And mommy is ready to take on her 6 children. And she was a very present parent in every aspect of our lives. Every. She taught me how to. I grew up in Okoye, but I was always in Ajegunle and Festac and everywhere. She made me take the bus. She said, there's no driver today. Enter bus and learn. You will learn, you won't die. She was very present. She was so present that she understood who we are. Her and my dad were actually quite present. And the truth is that I stammer badly. Who noticed? Anyone who went to secondary school with me can't believe that I can talk. Federal Benin, I could not talk. But because I had very present parents, my father would sit down with me after work. No joints, no hanging out with the boys. He would take a tape recorder and he would make me talk gently. Talk. Try it again. You're doing well, Chi. Do it again. Well done. And that's why I can stand in front of all of you like this today. So, being present allows you to see the potential in your child, to know what they can do, to help them overcome their issues, their challenges, their inadequacies. Being present with your child helps you bring out the best in them. So when they tell you your child is meant to study, you say, no, I know her. She's an art student. I know her very well. It was because my parents were present and my mom knew that, look, you have to study law or something in the arts. area because I was trying to study insurance. So she was like, girl, I know you. Because she was extremely, extremely present. And in being present, sometimes we have to make some choices. We have to give up some things because we want to be there for these children. It might be a choice of saying, okay, for instance, the other day someone said, oh, there's this training in Lagos. I love Lagos. I grew up in Lagos. So I'm always happy to go there. And I said, no, I'm already going to Port Harcourt and Kano this October. I don't, it's okay. They'll pay me, but no, I'll much rather spend time with my children. Or there's some jobs you might get, you're like, this job is so great, so high profile. And you're like, the age my children are right now, I'm not sure. Okay, let me pray about it, let me think about it. There's nothing wrong with thinking about things. You mustn't say yes immediately. You can take your time and think it through and be sure it's the right fit for you. Or even say, you know what, I'm taking time off work. I did that when I had my third child. I took time off work. I said, you know what, I just need to be here. I have 3 children. I'm not understanding myself. It's a bit too much. Let me just take a break. I took about a year or so to do stuff on my own, until I was ready. And maybe you can't afford to take off time from work or whatever. That's where the agreement part comes in. Having a spouse who understands you, and both of you working together to making sure even when one parent is not present, the other one is at every point in time. So that when trips have to be made, you can say, okay, you know what, honey, you go. I'll stay back with the children. Oh, you know what, I'll go. So that's really, so there's so many things you can do. But the truth is that we have to ensure that being present is understood. It's not really about the gifts we give them. It's always said, presence over presence. Your presence is what's needed. Your presence must be enjoyable. Your presence must be something they look forward to. Yes, the goodies are part of it. We love them. It could just be granuts. Nothing major. They will enjoy that granite more if you're there eating it with them than you bringing lots of stuff and you're never, ever, ever around. What are those important dates in your children's lives? Birthdays, recitals, things that are just really, really major. So you can tell your boss, okay, you know me, I'm always doing my work, oh, please, this one, please. Or have someone cover with you. That's why it's important to have a good connection with your colleagues at work so that they can cover up for you when you need to run to that school to watch your child give that thing they've been rehearsing for weeks on the stage. It takes a lot of intentionality, but I promise you it's so, so worth it. And let me end this by giving you my experience when I was doing my second master's in the UK. I went with my 2 younger children, 18 months and 7 years at the time. And it was just me and them. And I left my 2 older children at home with their dad. And it wasn't easy. I committed to doing FaceTime and all of that every day. And my second son was to graduate from primary school. And he said, Mommy, please, I would really like you to be at my graduation. When are you done with school? And to be honest, I was going to be done about July, August. And his graduation was like early July. And I said, okay, I'll be there. And it meant me working really hard. It meant me doing so much. But I'm so happy that I made it. And I took those pictures with him and I was there for him. I had missed his whole year 6 basically, because I was away. It was just phone calls and just one visit. And I was there and I still made a distinction in the end because my heart was in it. So you can do it. You have no excuse, that's the honest truth. We have so much at our disposal. We have conferences like this, which our parents did not have, to help us plan our lives and say, you know what, I can be the best I can be as a parent. I can be there for them. Even with this whole busyness in this world, I can take time away and retreat and say, look, this is just time for me and family. I can do family holidays. I know better now, so therefore, I will do better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, so let me tender a sincere apology to everybody here, um, including our vendors, about we're trying to put a lot of things together so that We are out of here in no time. So we are sorry. Very soon, very, very soon, you're going to be, I mean, you all are going to be able to go around and engage with the vendors. But before that, we'll just very quickly, very, very short time, because these things are important. If they were not important, it would be easy to let go. But it's just that they're important. We have to do them. So I don't know if that is just in a very short time will be. So kindly bear with us, and of course, if you're gaining something, can I see your hand? I mean. So it's worth it, right? The time spent here, the time is a huge investment. By the way, in case you have a question, kindly let me know. Just just write it down and I'll come over to you. All right, are you ready for us?
Isaac Amonger is the CEO of Minds and Emotions Center, a pharmacist, veteran consultant, and chief trainer in emotional intelligence, anger and stress management, a business administrator, reflexologist, sound therapist, color therapist, whole brain optimization trainer, swim instructor, lifeguard instructor, advanced aqua therapist, graphologist, mental health and addiction counselor, basic life support instructor, lie detector, mind mapping practitioner, massage therapist, and neurolinguistic programmer. Isaac Amoja has been involved in the training of members of staff of international non-governmental organizations, the civil service in Nigeria, and the petroleum industry. Isaac Onoja is a member of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Society of Lifestyle Medicine of Nigeria, and a life member of the Enterprise Development Center of the Pan Atlantic University. Isaac Onoja runs a program on radio called the Minds and Emotions Clinic, which deals with different issues affecting the well-being of individuals. This program has impacted numerous people with worthy testimonies. He uses his wealth of learning to enhance the performance of human beings of all levels, and he is a well sought after conference and inspirational speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Isaac Onoja.
Okay, this is a culture. Let's keep it going.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Dr. Vivian Okoye for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Um, my first degree is in pharmacy, I'm a pharmacist, and let me say it here, the average medical health practitioner has dysfunctional training. Did you hear me? The average medical health practitioner has dysfunctional training. And that's why we find a lot of problems in the health sector you don't know about. I've been able to learn so much because of my father. My father is my hero. And he will tell you, he will say, learn all that you can learn as fast as you can learn, because I will not always be with you. My father is late, but I'm here. And I'm grateful that he was around and to teach me all those stuff. Um, if you're a man and you're a father here, can you stand? Thank you very much. And the women who are around them, I want you, if you have some money in your purse, I'm serious. If you have some money, I want you to bring them out or ask them to. Okay, you don't even need to have money in your purse. If you have your phone and you have an account that has some money, can you take their account details? I'm very serious. So you can give them some money and just tell them, thank you for coming, and please come again and go to such meetings. For your information, the whole problem in parenting, or not problem now, the leadership in parenting is on men. And now look at it. In this hall, there are 99% of women and just 1% of men. Listen, we will not be able to solve. Thank you very much. Please sit down. Please. I'll get confirmations from them that they got some alerts. Please. We're at a crossroad in our world today. We have left the most important things. Thank you very much. Women don't have seed. Listen, no woman has a seed. The seed belongs to the man. If we joke with fathers, we destroy the society. Fathers are an endangered species right now. They are not celebrated. I pity the country. You don't celebrate men, don't celebrate fathers. It's the women. Listen, I did. You read I've done a lot of training. I'm a mad professional learner. There is the energy of a man that a woman cannot give. Listen to me. I hear women, some foolish women in capital letters, say they don't need a man. That foolishness is in capital letters. There are things you will never achieve until the man releases it. In energy medicine, you don't need to speak. All you need to do is to be there, and your vibration will send the message. Everything in life is about vibration. Vibration. Energy everywhere. Have you not noticed, mothers, that what you have done is that you have made men, you have set men free. I met a woman, 4 children. She said she prefers her children to her husband. Capital F, foolish woman. You find women say, I will be the one to be picking the children. Then the man does what? You let the men go. They are drinking and eating with their friends. You are battling at home because you think you love the children more, not knowing your energy cannot carry them. Have you not noticed that you told him to do something, he didn't do it, but once his father came and said, go and do it, he did it. You know why? The energy of the father is not the same as the mother. I have to talk to you about emotional intelligence. Nigeria is 61 years old today. I want you to listen. Parenting is about moving children from dependence to independence to interdependence. Imagine Nigeria as a country. We celebrate Nigeria. We are grateful to God for keeping us for 61 years. But this is the question. If you have a son that is 61 years old and needs somebody to advise him from another country, would you be a celebrated father? And look at how we started. How did we get independence? How were we treated by the colonial masters? Nigeria has not recovered from the colonial trauma. It even reflects in cosmetology, where men and women will bleach their skin to look like their colonial masters. You take it, some people just say, no, I just want to be white. No, there is an internal longing for continuous slavery unconsciously. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing in life is new, and every achievement, every success is based on your level of consciousness. Your success in life is based on your level of consciousness. 95% of the time, the human being is unconscious. You're only 5% of the time conscious. The thing, all that we're doing, plus this training, is to move us from 5% consciousness to 95% consciousness. If I asked you how you got here, no, if I asked you how you got to work every day after 1 week, sincerely, you don't know. You got in your car and you arrived at work. You know why? You became unconscious. Emotions are energy. Emotions are data. Emotions are feedback. All emotions are valid. All. You hear Nigerians say that no, don't bring that emotional thing for me here. Listen, each time somebody tells you don't to bring an emotional situation or condition, they want to cheat you. They want to make you different. They want to do what you call compartmentalization. Mahatma Gandhi said, a man cannot do right in one aspect of life and attempts to do wrong in another aspect. Life is an indivisible whole. We are here 61 years after because of the way we were treated. And I see parents still repeating the colonial treatment. If you're here and you hit your child, you're a colonial master. Listen to me. I've done neuroscience. I beg you, in the name of God, if you are very angry, don't hit your child. Don't hit your wife. Move away. You may be causing a lifetime's damage. There are women today who cannot keep their family, they cannot stay in their families or with their husbands because of what their fathers did to them up to today. Emotions. Emotions are deep. Like the swimming pool. You find so many people go to the swimming pool right now. I'm a swim instructor. Do you know emotional intelligence has moved me to learn so many things? I'm a swim instructor. I'm a lifeguard instructor. I'm an aquatherapist. I went abroad to do these trainings because I was pursuing something about emotional intelligence. At the shallow end, go to the pool right now. There's a pool here. You find so many people that were shallow end. And many times, don't find nobody at the deep end. But do you know in swimming, the most important place where life is at the deep end. The deep end, why don't people like going to the deep end? They tell you their feet cannot touch the ground. Listen, when your feet cannot touch the ground, that's when you need skill. For your information, it is not hands and legs that swim. It is the brain that swims. That's why you find people like, Nick Vujicic. No, the man without arms and legs. Nick can swim. But look at you now. Arms and legs. You can swim. You are so scared of. Listen, your trauma is coming from the past. Listen, all parents can be potential captors. I met a woman who said she wants to learn. No, she said she cannot allow her children to swim. I said, excuse me, ma, why? She said, I had an experience in the past that I saw somebody drown. And that's why that woman is an automatic captor of her children. They will never learn to swim because of her own experience. Parenting is not about children. It's about you. Resolve your problems. That's why I said, if you still raise your hand to hit your child, you belong to the Slappers Association of Nigeria. You have trauma. You are a victim, so you victimize. I've met several parents. They will tell you, what are you telling me? Me, it's my child. Is it not my child? I will do what I say. Excuse me. That's the first error. A parent is not an owner. A parent is a caregiver. Ownership is very difficult and expensive. If you are an entrepreneur, you will understand. You own a business, do you know the staff doesn't care? That yet, a lot. Whether business enters or not, ownership is difficult. Then the person who gave you said, be a caregiver. I want to plead here that men and women, husband and wife, help your husbands, help your wives to be faithful. Why did I say this? Marriages are breaking every day. You know why it's breaking? People have refused to learn. So much of information, but no knowledge, no learning. And this is how I am, this is how I am, this is how you are. And the marriage is failing. This is how, I'm a man. Recently, somebody just hit another woman, a fellow staff, hit her hard. Her head was swollen. And when we came to discuss about it, what did he tell me? He said, the way the lady spoke to him, he is a man. You don't talk to a man like that. Okay. I now saw his father. You see, classical environmental conditioning is terrible. They are conditioned to speak like that and to do that. I said, as you are now, you need help, or you will kill a woman. Women are not to be beaten. I'm doing a course called money coaching. Money, ego, booty coaching. And do you know what I found there? That all our money problems are based on our emotions. From the family, from your father and your mother. If your father's energy about money is negative, you will unconsciously carry it. Some, it went to an extension to their grandfathers and grandmothers. No financial planning can help you. Have you not wondered? You earn so much, but you are broke constantly. They are emotions. I'm telling you this to get a little bit into what we call emotional intelligence. To say, emotions are real. They are physiological, normal, natural. But you need to add thinking to it. In emotional intelligence, this is the most important word. And this, I'm going to demonstrate it. What is the word? P-A-U-S-E. Pause. Once you pause, things change. But once you're in a hurry, you know, a child picks a glass and he breaks it. You run, mother, who break the glass? Mommy, I'm the one. You hit the child, you slap. I bought this glass, $350, 3,500. What did you? The child, the brain will go, did you tell the truth? Yes, I told the truth. Mommy hit me. Okay. Tomorrow, he sits on a chair and he breaks. Mommy comes and says, who broke this chair? I don't know. And you know, when you say you don't know, mommy will leave you. Then the brain comes and says, hello. The other day, you took a glass, she asked, and you said you did. You told the truth, right? You said yes, and you were beaten. Now, you did this, you did it right, but you told a lie, and you were set free. You were set free, yes. So what do you want? Pain or freedom? Say freedom. So lie became a pattern. We hit people when they tell the truth.
Yeah.
Is it not true? Are you not still doing it? You ask, where are you coming from? I'm coming from James' house. That is the truth. You hit. The brain will register. Truth is not good. Truth gives you pain. Tell daddy you were at the backyard trying to get his clothes inside.
Yes.
And he'll say, okay, that was all you did. Okay, good boy. Ladies and gentlemen, emotional intelligence tells you about respond, don't react. Time will not permit us. You have stayed for some time. Respond, don't react. In responding, you think and feel together. In reacting, you act without thinking. I bought you go to Elizabeth now and buy a 2021 Toyota Corolla, 25 million, and you're driving out with loud music, and you are coming out. One taxi driver comes and hits you. Oh my God! And you came out of the car. Oh, what was wrong with you? Why? Then the taxi driver steps back and falls down. And people come around and say, "Okay, what happened? What? I just bought this car. See this massive." Someone say, "Okay, he's not breathing, no." He's not breathing, no. He said, "No, were you not here? Were you not here when I slapped him? Were you not? Was you?" Yes, I was here when you slapped him. But I don't know what you put in your hand when you slapped him. The man has died, though. He has died, though. He has died, though. You have a case between you and the Inspector General of Police. You ask, when did how? You killed a Nigerian, and the Inspector General of Police is responsible for the safety of this citizen, and you're going to have a case with him. Listen, what has happened there is low emotional intelligence. Anger is not bad. If you want to be a billionaire, I want to be a billionaire. So freaking bad. You want to be a billionaire? You must be a very angry person. But your anger will be mixed with love to become passion. Now you have killed somebody because you couldn't manage your anger. Now that is a reaction. This is how to respond when they hit your car like that. Once your car is hit like that, you come out. It happened to me again yesterday. You come out. You know what to do? You check. And I only come out of my car to check when there's traffic. Listen, if there's no traffic, I will not stop. You know why? Hitting you could be phase one of the kidnapping process. Hitting, you don't know what is happening. You know, some boys, don't be foolish. Somebody slaps you in the presence of your girlfriend or your wife. Run. Because the human being needs a reason to harm you further. That's phase one. If you react, he will pull out the gun from his and shoot you. And anybody who has to say, yes, he tried to attack me, but he slapped you first. How do you check? Look at the person, are you okay? He says, yes. You get in your car and go. Or you check, there's a damage. You say, okay, what insurance company do you use? Because all this insurance you are doing, you are not activating it. That man whose car, brand new, was just hit. He has a comprehensive insurance that he will drive back that car into this day, they will give him another one out. But low emotional intelligence has created that. Don't react, respond. Your children are not your problem. You did not work hard to make more money. You married Angelina at 100,000. You added John 100,000. Added James 100,000. Added what do you call her name again? Susan 100,000. You added the fourth one. Who was her name again? Ngozi, 100,000. You have just set yourself up for crisis. They are not your problem. You see, let me tell you something. Don't want people talk. They say, this children, since I married you, my life became, yes, your life became so useless because you did not grow yourself. 100,000. Madam will come with her own and plugs in, right? She needs to take something. It will reduce it. Children will come plug. You don't even have just one or two. You have four. Four. Look, get an Apas my neighbor generator. You know it? That's 4-stroke. You can power lights, but plug in a pressing iron. What will happen? Some men actually died physically because of their inability to grow themselves. You will die, and you will die because you did not improve yourself. If you are in 100,000 naira, you marry a woman, raise it. Find a way to raise it. If you don't raise it, crisis will, you can't come home sometimes. Not because the woman is not loving. You can meet up. Because a new person is there. Emotional intelligence is wide. I can't talk so much here because of our time. Get materials, learn from the academy, from the Vivian Okoye Parents Academy. You can get materials and learn. And let me tell you, get a coach or get a counselor. Pay money. Many of you are sitting here. The reason why you will not grow financially is that you don't like to pay for services. You belong to the free zone. People who love free things, right? I see them a lot. They tell you, no, this thing is meant to be free. If you don't listen, the person who's giving it to you is not free. It comes from somewhere. You can't continue like that. And if you enter what we call free addiction, your life will be miserable. Pay for services, attend courses, grow yourself. Emotions. Do you know how to learn, how to grow emotional intelligence? Things will happen. An emotional event will happen, like anger. It's for you to see, how can I manage anger? You pause. You are stupid. You are stupid does not mean come and hit me. But in Nigeria, it happens. You are stupid, you fight broken arms and legs in the hospital. What happened? It's called be stupid. But you know the word, the meaning stupid means you are thinking slow. You ask yourself, am I thinking slow? You say, no, I'm not thinking slow. Oh, yes, I'm thinking slow. So let me improve my thinking. But once you don't pause to think about it, you rush. So that pausing makes you rewire your brains. I can't really go so much, but to tell you as parents, emotional intelligence makes you very effective. And like I said, if you're slapping your child, slapping people, you belong to the Slappers Association, you need help. And I'm serious about it. And you are one of the reasons why at 61 years, we're importing toothpick. You are one. So if you want a change, stop and have a conversation. Talk to that child. Talk, have it. You will learn from that child. You will be changed. The child is not your problem. You are the problem. Resolve your issues that you have come with, and you find that you can relate. It's but a child. Lastly, I will end with this. The human brain has a play center. You talked about play. When my children come back from school, I don't ask them how your academics went. I'll ask them, how much time did you play today? Parents, you refuse to play. You have mortgage, you have also tried to make your children not to play, to become like you. Look at you now. You want your own child to be like you. Do you look good? You are constantly afraid to take a decision. You know when they say we turned out right, my father slapped me to reset. Did you reset? You can't take, you cannot, you're always afraid. Parents, allow your girl children to ride bicycle. It helps them to balance. Many women are not balanced. This is the truth. Many women lost themselves last is because they didn't ride those bicycles. You have to go and start riding it now. The reason is simple. The brain training does not come from sitting down. It comes from activities. See now, they say, no, I don't want you to ride your father told, I don't want you to tell you that your legs will be good, no injuries and all that. No, you have no injury, but you cannot take decisions. What is the leg for? My son the other day was playing, my son, he came with an injury, was very, my wife was angry. I said, why did you go and play? I said, leave him. This is part of it. The injury will heal. This is how it grows. You grow. Break, heal, continue. Because life, there'll be so many things there. It's part of the process. Ladies and gentlemen, activate your emotional intelligence. Always respond. Don't react. Thank you.
Mike is really hot right now. Please keep those hands down. I feel I have a body right now too. that was something else. That was something else. Please can we all say thank you? I mean I've learned a lot. That was amazing. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, so the mic is really hot, honestly. Please, sorry, can I just Okay, so we've come to the very end of today's program. But I'd like to ask, I mean, our speakers are still here. Ask for your questions if you have a question. So, okay, let me see your hands. If you have a question, can I see your hand? If you have a question. Questions? Questions, no question. All right. So I know we'll be talking, we'll be having conversations, we'll be learning. I think it's time to get entertained, right? Say again. You have a question. Okay, can you write it down? I remember I said that earlier, if you remember. Can you please write it down? So that after we get entertained, we have a music presentation and then we call it, we answer the questions. Dr. Vivian comes and says her closing remarks and we go. All right, so I mean, obviously, from the way she talks, she's someone that has it in her spirit. Please do me a favor, very quickly, help me welcome up stage to come and entertain us and get us to another level of this wonderful event. GMC. Please a round of applause for GMC. Please a round of applause as she comes forward. Where is GMC? Okay, she's here. Please, she's still coming. Please help me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Okoye, for this. Amazing to be here. Okay, it is said that if you raise a child right, you raise a nation right. So everything we're doing here is about having a better Nigeria. So can we rise, please, as we sing the national anthem? Are we ready? Alright, so come pay trust. Nigeria, call, obey to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past you may visit it. I have a song titled I Was Here, originally done by Beyonce. I want to think back years from now and when I look at my children, I want to think back and say, I'm glad that I lived because I see my children living. I wanna leave my footprint on the sands of time. No, there was something that I left behind. When I leave this world, I leave no regret. There's something to remember, so this world will see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I want to say I live each day until I die, and know that I meant something in somebody's life. The hearts I have touched will be the proof that I lived, that I made a difference in this world. Will see I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. Just wanting to know that I gave my all, did my best, brought someone some happiness, and this world a little better just because I was here. I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I've done everything that I wanted, and there was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I touched somebody's life. I did, I've done, I was here. I made somebody's life. I did, I've done, I was here. I was. Thank you.
That is pure talent and grace. Amazing. Please help me. Give her a round of applause. Another one. That was powerful. You know, honestly, I almost got slain when I heard her sing the national anthem. She was in the spirit. All right, so I understand that we need to get going right now. So But okay, the people that are supposed to answer the questions are not here, like the sex education question and all that. I don't know if I can still ask the question. Yeah? Yeah, I understand. I understand. Okay, so about time to get engaged with the vendors and get what you want to buy and see what you can get from there. But I would like to invite Dr. Vivian Okoye, who was the convener of this beautiful occasion, to give her closing remarks. And we have the opportunity and the time to get into those spaces. Please, a round of applause for Vivian, please. Thank you.
What do I say? It has been an amazing time, and Parent Summit Africa 2021 has happened. We have said a lot, we have started the conversation, but this is just the beginning of the journey. Whatever it is that this conversation has awakened in you, please do not let it die down. It goes beyond conversations. You have to stay committed to the journey of raising confident, trauma-free, and wholesome humans. And that is why I said at the Vivian Okoye Parenting Academy, we are here to hold your hand. We have amazing programs for parents, and we want you to take a look. You can go to our website, you can send us a message, our admin will respond to you. We're here and ready to support you. Please keep going. Don't give up. Keep learning, keep implementing, and at the end of the day, all our labor of love will be rewarded bountifully. And I wish each and every one of us safe journey as we go back. Those of us that travel to come, I wish us journey messes. Thank you to my amazing speakers and resource person. Thank you to the team. Thank you to everyone who made this possible. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Vivian. Please, I would like to invite a very renowned pastor to come give us a closing prayer. Now, this man is very great, and I can't just, I feel somehow saying it like this. Please, a round of applause for Pastor Shegun Abe. He's, he's an amazing teacher of the word. Okay, he's almost here. If you don't mind, I'll let you to keep clapping. Please keep clapping. Please keep clapping. Please keep clapping. Please keep clapping. He's almost here. He's almost here. He's almost here. Please keep clapping. Keep clapping. Now you can sing. Keep clapping. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. I want you to put your hands together for yourself. For yourself. Thank you very much. And please, where is Miss Vivian? All right. Please help me celebrate the convener, please. Help me celebrate. Thank you. And one more time for the awesome speakers. Thank you for the awesome job. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for doing justice. Okay. My duty is just to take the closing prayer. Okay, just briefly. I know a lot of people are distracted, but there's something I just want to say quickly. I am very conscious of the fact that closing prayer just seems like, can you just say what you want to say, and then we go have our seats, or we just go back home and all of that. But let me just say something quickly from the scripture because I'm a pastor. There was a time when Jesus Christ fed 5,000 people with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. But at the end of the program, there were 12 basketfuls that were left. Trying to tell you that the end of a program is not a waste. Okay? The closing of an event has 12 baskets of wisdom, 12 baskets of angelic presence, 12 baskets of all manner of things that are still available. So please, let us not think that the short prayer we're going to take right now has no meaning, okay? There are 12 baskets, there are 30 baskets, there are 5,000 baskets that will still be given to everybody here. Do we understand? So with that consciousness, please, can we be on our feet, please? Just for 2 minutes. Can we be on our feet? Now, I know that a lot of people there are a lot of noises and people are talking, of course, doing something that is legitimate. But quickly, if you can hear me very well, I would like you to just talk to God right now that he should help you to apply every wisdom that you have learned today. Can you please go ahead and just pray that prayer? Just pray whichever way you can. Just make it a prayer. The Bible says, let us not be hearers alone, but be doers. If not, we are deceiving our own selves. We didn't deceive the convener. We are not deceiving the speakers. We are deceiving our own selves. So that next time we are going to be here, we are going to be grateful that our children have gotten better and we have become better parents. So just say something to God if you know He's hearing you. If you know He's hearing you. Now, if you've done that, in the next 1 minute, can you please pray for all the speakers? Believe you me, I'm saying this, I know I'm not saying it with their permission. Not everybody is as encouraged as they look, even though they are inspiring you. So please pray for them. Pray for them. Even some of them might have said things that might not be exactly the same situation in their own family. So pray for them. We are not being judgmental. Just pray for them. That this wisdom will not be found wanting in their own lives also. Pray for the convener. Resources have gone into it. Partners have invested their funds and a lot of things have happened. Pray for her that she's going to have a divine rejuvenation. Things are going to be recouped to her supernaturally. Then lastly, today is like a birthday for Nigeria. Can you make a prayer for Nigeria? I know virtually all of us here are not happy about things, but can you please pray for Nigeria? Let's not say things as we see them. Let's say things as we want them to be. So can you just bless Nigeria? The president doesn't have to be of your religion, but pray for him. Let's pray for the peace of Jerusalem. If there's no peace in Jerusalem, there's no peace for you also. There were some of you that wanted to make it here earlier today, but the road was blocked for obvious reasons. Anything affecting the country has a way of affecting you. Please pray for Nigeria. Pray for our National Assembly. Pray for all the directors. Pray for all the institutions in Nigeria because they have a place to play. Imagine there was a state of emergency in Abuja. This would not have happened. So pray for the Jerusalem, which is Nigeria right now. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Our Father and our God, we thank you for this event. We know that this could not have been successful if not for your hand that made it to happen. Therefore, Lord, we give you the praise in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, we pray for everybody here. I pray for every soul here that has listened to your word, that has conceptualized all these things. People have done a lot to make today a success. Father, I pray for them that in the name of Jesus, these words will not stand against anybody in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, let our children truly be arrows in the hands of God in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, we pray for the convener that in the name of Jesus, she receives strength, fresh ideas over her in the name of Jesus. Lord, wherever funds might have gone into this thing, Father, I pray that there will definitely be harvest that will make the soul and the accounts to be happy in the name of Jesus. And we pray that by the next time this is going to be taking place, Father, it's going to be bigger and better than this. Thank you, Heavenly Father. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Thank you so much for making our time. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. You have the opportunity to network, to visit the vendors, and in case you would like to have a sound guy, someone that will be a sound engineer at your event, you can talk to Charles of Cool Links Multimedia, and the phone number is 080-883-88157. You can also meet him here. He's the one that was in charge of the sound. Thank you very much. My name is Toby Martins, and I'm signing out.
It's nine. Nine. I can get close to it. Yes, 080. Three, three, 8283. Okay, sir. It's Abraham 2637 at Gmail. All right.